Hello, my frisky ponies. When you look out at YouTube and the YouTubers out there on YouTube, they all at some point will do a video where they're like, what's my personality type? Who am I really? The thing is, me being the personality type guy on YouTube is not really a video I've ever thought to do because it would be like pointless and redundant. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. In fairness, a few years ago, I did a video where I took a personality test that for some reason gave everyone who took it the result ISTJ.
Maybe I need to call myself TJ now.
So today I'm actually taking the 16personalities.com test. This video is really going to be breaking down all the questions here, and who knows, maybe I will be able to manipulate the test to get some far out answer. Let me tell you about this video's sponsor, Green Chef. Green Chef is an awesome meal kit service. I love it. You can get $100 off across your first 4 boxes by using my link in the description and code FrankJames100. Green Chef is a USDA certified organic company. They got dishes for all kinds of diet. Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Paleo? Or cacajito? Keto. Green Chef has a ton of different recipes for you to choose from. The ingredients are all ready to go, delivered right to your door. The recipes are easy to follow. You just go line by line. I really like not having to like measure stuff or buy a huge thing from the grocery store and only use like 0.2 ounces of it. It's easy to eat well with Green Chef. You'll find new recipes every week that you will love to cook. With Green Chef's huge variety of clean, high quality ingredients, like the organic, non-GMO, sustainably sourced produce, you can feel great about what you are putting on your dinner table. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit out there, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging from every box. You guys know I did an ad read for HelloFresh a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
HelloFresh owns Green Chef. It's great to have both options. I love them both. For $100 off across your first 4 boxes from Green Chef, go to greenchef.us/FrankJames100 and then use code FrankJames100. FrankJames100. Boom! Get some food! Now that I've eaten my lunch, let's take this test. Let's get back into the video. I am pumped up. I'm ready to go. My endocrines are rejuvenated. I actually haven't seen this. Is this new? This is cool. The campfire. You regularly make new friends. Well, I mean, there's really no way I could spin this one. I think the answer is disagree. You spend a lot of time, all right. Next, you spend a lot of time free, why can't I speak? Seeing other people cry. Maybe I'll have to retitle this video. I had a stroke, and to be honest with you, I don't necessarily feel like crying when I see someone else cry. Keyword easily? No, not easy. So we're gonna say disagree. You are not too interested in discussing various interpretations and analyses of creative works. I think this is an N versus S question again, which is a little bit, it's like S types don't let, here's the other thing. I feel like most people are going to put agree with this because you feel dumb if you put disagree. Or I mean agree, if you agree that you are not interested in discussing various interpretations of creative works. Here's another way to pick apart this question is the word various. Like maybe I only want to discuss my interpretation of it. I'm very interested in that. Not sure I want to hear anyone else's, which also would be what this site is calling intuition or sensing. Intuitives are open-minded. They want to see all the possibilities, whereas sensors are closed-minded. That's basically what 16 Personalities is trying to say. To clarify, it is this test in particular that is trying to say that about sensors versus intuitives, not necessarily Myers-Briggs in general, or me, myself, Frank James. So you know what? I'm gonna say agree because I am not actually that interested in hearing a wide breadth of interpretations about something, because a lot of times other people's interpretations are stupid and dumb and wrong. You rarely worry about whether you make a good impression on people you meet. Heck no! You like books and movies that make you come up with your own interpretation of the ending. This is an interesting question, and this is once again one that I would initially think is J versus P, because the P-types will prefer to have things open-ended, whereas J-types will like to have things tied up in more of a conclusion. But I think they might actually be making this an intuition versus sensing question. That once again, the intuitives will be the ones who want to just interpret my own thing, come up with my own conclusion, and sensors are like, no, what actually happened? I don't like dissatisfying endings. You know, I kind of like things that are tied up with a bit of a bow, but I also do enjoy things that have ambiguity at the end. So how am I supposed to answer this question? Since I think it's an N versus S and I want to try to skew the results a little, I will say I disagree. I like it when I am given a firm conclusion and interpretation at the end of a movie or film, or the movies and films are the same thing. Before we continue, let's stop momentarily and see if YouTube would like to show a commercial. Thanks for sitting through that. And if you're enjoying this video, hit the thumbs up button. You think the world would be a better place if people relied more on their rationality and less on their feelings? I agree with that. I mean, I think if people were more rational, then we'd be finding more solutions to problems rather than reacting emotionally to things. That doesn't necessarily mean that's how I make decisions. I could be a totally irrational person, but everyone else needs to be rational. They need to make up for my irrationality. You become bored or lose interest when the discussion gets highly theoretical. This is an intuition versus sensing question, and the truth is, I tend to become bored when people start talking about theoretical stuff. So I'm going to put myself as a sensor here. You find it easy to empathize with a person whose experiences are very different from yours. This is intuition versus sensing also, with the way that this test works, because they're like, intuitives are so imaginative, they can get in someone else's shoes, and sensors, for some reason, aren't able to do that. And you know what? I think of myself as being empathetic, and I generally am, but I have also found that there are times where I am not really that empathetic to other people until I have had a bit more life experience and can actually be closer to what they have gone through. So I'm actually gonna say disagree here, because if I'm being totally open and honest, I don't always find it easy to empathize with people who have very different experiences from me. And this is something that most people don't do. Most people will just be like, oh yeah, agree, I'm empathetic. They will, want to put the socially acceptable answer. They won't want to think of themselves in a bad light, or they won't even realize it. Like it takes some time to realize these things about yourself, and most people will not. So most people will put agree. You enjoy going to art museums. Like, I'm not really what? You avoid making phone calls. Classic introvert or extrovert question. And I'm gonna disagree, because I don't really avoid making phone calls. I used to. If you talked to me 5 years ago, yes, I avoided phone calls all the time. I hated calling people. But then I had a job where I was on the phone all the time, and I'm desensitized to it. If I have to make a call, I'll just make the call. I'm not really that nervous about it anymore. You often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. This is probably an intuition versus sensing question, but the thing is, like, you often spend a lot of time trying to understand views that are very different from your own. So this is a very extreme question, and I don't know if the wording being so extreme is a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm gonna say I disagree, because I don't really spend a lot of time often trying to understand views that are very different from my own. So by disagreeing, I'm gonna put myself probably as a sensing type. And that's another question where I think most people are going to put agree, and that's why so many people type as intuitive on this test, because no one wants to think of themselves as closed-minded. Even the most closed-minded people are going to put that they are open-minded. Well, there are some people who are aware that they are closed-minded or whatever, but I think the majority of people just don't realize how little they actually try to understand very different viewpoints. And I think a lot of it is just because you don't realize it. Like, you don't realize when you are dealing with a viewpoint that is very different, you don't realize where you are relative to it. You don't realize that your opinion is an opinion or a viewpoint. You just think of it as being reality. and other people are just in non-reality. And so that's why I think that that's a tough question to test accurately as a self-test. You are still bothered by mistakes you made a long time ago. Oh yes. Oh yes. When someone thinks highly of you, you wonder how long it will take them to feel disappointed in you. Yes. Yes, this this describes me more than anything. And this is an assertive versus turbulent question. So the turbulent people are gonna say yes. Before we keep trucking, let's stop momentarily once again and see if YouTube would like to show a commercial. Thanks for sitting through that. You know at a first glance how someone is feeling. Ooh, I know how you feeling. Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily know how they're feeling. I'm taking a guess at how they're feeling. I'm assuming how they feel. This is another thinking versus feeling. What did I say? Now, I'm gonna be a butthead here, and I'm gonna say, they say you know at first glance how someone is feeling. And even though I'll make an assumption about how someone is feeling, technically, and I have learned this through trial and error, I do not know how someone is feeling just by looking at them. You might look at someone and think they are so sad right now, and then you talk to them and they're fine. So, first glance, no, I don't know how someone is feeling. I gotta get more info before I can make that judgment call. You would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. You selfless chap. Who is the someone else? Is the someone else my brother? Then yeah. Is it some rando who I've never met before? Maybe no. I think this is asking F versus T, but I don't think that this is necessarily something that all feelers would pass along a good opportunity if you thought someone else needed it more. Unless it is someone close to me, I am probably not gonna do it. Like, sorry. Sorry, but if one of you in the audience was like, hey, I need this opportunity, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm taking it. This is where everyone unsubscribes. Frank wouldn't pass along that theoretical, hypothetical opportunity to me. I don't even know what it is. Frank has been keeping all these opportunities to himself. He could have been emailing them to me the whole time. All right, we're gonna see the results. Let's take a guess about what I'm gonna come out as. My guess is actually that I'm just gonna get INFJ. See results. I got This is hilarious, man. So when I took the bad test on the other site a few years ago, I got ISTJ. Which, for those of you in the audience, let me just point out, I am not an ISTJ. No one in their right mind would say Frank James is an ISTJ. And not that there's anything wrong with ISTJs, it's just like, I am not representative of what an ISTJ is like. I don't think. Oh crap. Watch everyone now go around, Frank James is ISTJ, Frank James. I kind of had a feeling I might skew it to thinking, but I'm really surprised I skewed it that much towards sensing. Before we move, no, I don't want a copy of this emailed to me. All right, well, I'm ISTJ with Alan Ben here. ISTJ Frank here. Well, isn't that something? 2 tests, 2 Myers-Briggs whatever tests on this channel, both ISTJ. It's really looking like maybe. So I hope the takeaway that you get from this video is that tests aren't the end-all be-all. They have flaws, especially this one. It's up for misinterpretation, it's up for manipulation, and a lot of times we don't really know who we actually are. Isn't that comforting? Thanks again to The Green Chef for sponsoring this video. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Watch some other videos over here. And until next time, stay cool and attractive.